In the year 2026, humanity has mastered the art of observation. We have sent rovers to the rust-colored plains of Mars and mapped the darkest trenches of our oceans. Yet there remains a coordinates-shaped hole in our history, a place that every major religion, every ancient myth, and even our own DNA seems to remember: the Garden of Eden. For centuries, theologians argued it was a spiritual state, while skeptics labeled it a fairy tale. But the book of Genesis doesn't describe a dreamscape, it describes a physical location with precise hydrology, rivers that flowed, gold that was mined, and borders that were guarded. Why is it that despite our satellites and ground-penetrating radar, we find nothing but dust and sand? Today, we're going beyond the Sunday school stories. We're using forensic archaeology, satellite cartography, and ancient texts to track the most elusive location in the universe. We aren't just looking for a park, we're looking for the ground zero of the human race. And perhaps in finding its location, we might finally understand why we feel like strangers in our own world. The search begins with the water. Genesis 2:10 tells us that a river watering the garden flowed from Eden. From there, it was separated into 4 headwaters. 2 of these rivers are the heavy hitters of history, the Tigris and the Euphrates. Their headwaters begin in the mountains of Turkey, flowing down through Iraq into the Persian Gulf. But the other 2, the Pishon and the Gihon, have been the cold cases of geography for 2 millennia. However, in 2026, our technology has revealed a secret buried under the sands of Saudi Arabia. Using space-borne imaging radar, scientists have discovered the Wadi al-Batan, a massive dried-up riverbed that once flowed from the Hijaz Mountains toward the Persian Gulf. This matches the biblical description of the Pishon, a river that winds through the entire land of Havilah, where there is gold. Think about the precision of this ancient text. Long before satellites, Genesis recorded a river system that wouldn't be rediscovered for thousands of years. But here's the problem. If the rivers are real, where is the garden? When we follow these 4 rivers to their intersection, we find ourselves at the head of the Persian Gulf. But instead of a paradise, we find a shallow sea. Could Eden be underwater? Or has the Earth shifted so much that the coordinates have been wiped clean? To find Eden, we must look at the neighbors. The Sumerians, the world's oldest civilization, spoke of a place called Dilmun, a pure, bright land where there was no death and no disease. Their oldest city, Eridu, was believed to be the spot where the first kingship descended from heaven. Interestingly, the Sumerian Enuma Elish and the Epic of Gilgamesh share eerie parallels with the Eden narrative. They speak of a plant of immortality guarded by a serpent. Archaeology shows that the region where the Tigris and Euphrates meet was once a lush, swampy paradise with a biodiversity that felt supernatural. But as we dig deeper into the layers of Eridu, we find something unsettling. The deeper we go, the more perfect the architecture seems, as if humanity started at its peak and has been declining ever since. This contradicts our modern narrative of slow evolution. It suggests that the garden wasn't a primitive start, but a sophisticated pinnacle. Later, at the same site, we see the rise of the Tower of Babel, a desperate attempt to climb back to the heights we once occupied. Humanity wasn't building up to find God, they were building up because they had a genetic memory of a higher place, a place they were no longer allowed to enter. If Eden was a physical place, why can't we fly a drone over it today? Genesis 3:24 says that after the exile, God placed cherubim and a flaming sword to guard the path to the tree of life. In 2026, some physicists propose the multiverse or string theory, suggesting that our reality consists of at least 11 dimensions. Most of these dimensions are curled up or invisible to our 3-dimensional eyes. What if Eden wasn't destroyed? What if it was simply dephased? Think of the cherubim as more than just guards. They are the anchors of a frequency barrier. The flaming sword that turns every way could be a description of a quantum field, a barrier that prevents anything corrupted from entering a pure dimension. This explains why we find the rivers, we find the gold, and we find the ruins, but the soul of the location is gone. We are like a person looking at a beautiful painting through a distorted piece of glass. The painting is there, but we can no longer perceive its depth. We are exiles of frequency, and no matter how much we dig in the dirt, we cannot dig our way into a higher dimension. As we stand in 2026, the geography of Eden is making headlines again, but for a terrifying reason. The Euphrates River is drying up. For the first time in millennia, ancient caves, tombs, and structures are emerging from the riverbed. In the book of Revelation, the drying of the Euphrates is a sign of the end of an age, a preparation for the way of the kings of the East. But there's a deeper, more haunting connection. Ancient legends say that the prisons of the fallen are located beneath the Euphrates, the very borders of Eden. As the waters recede, it's as if the forensic evidence of our origins and our end are being revealed at the same time. The earth is screaming its history. We are seeing the veins of the garden exposed to the sun, but as the physical river disappears, it forces us to look at the spiritual one. Jesus once stood in this same geographical region and said, "Whoever believes in me, out of his heart will flow rivers of living water." He was offering a way to bypass the cherubim and the flaming sword. He was offering an internal Eden. If the physical paradise is drying up, it's only to remind us that we were never meant to find it on a map, but in a person. So where is the Garden of Eden? It is in the mountains of Turkey. It is under the sands of Arabia. It is at the bottom of the Persian Gulf, and it is behind a veil of light that our technology cannot pierce. But more than any location, Eden is a reminder of our value. You don't feel at home in this world because you weren't made for this world. You were made for a place of perfect intimacy, perfect work, and perfect peace. Your homesickness isn't a glitch, it's a homing beacon. The forensic search for Eden ends not with a shovel, but with a surrender. The second Adam, Jesus Christ, took the flaming sword in his own side so that the path to the tree of life could be reopened. He didn't come to give us a better map, he came to be the door. Today, as you look at the maps and the ruins, don't just look at the past, look at the promise. The search for paradise is over when you realize the one who planted the garden is the same one who wants to live in your heart. You don't need to find Eden on Google Earth. You just need to find your way back to the gardener.